Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sunday Cup of Joe, where me, Joe, I'm going to review the NCAA games from yesterday and do another preview of the upcoming NFL games for today and Monday. And I've got to wrap things up by 9:15 today because I've got my son's flag football championship game that I'm really looking forward to. So got to get this wrapped up pretty quick today, like within 45 minutes. So let's start getting to the content. But before we get to the content, just some friendly reminders. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Give us that 5-star Apple review because we deserve it. Where you can see the show, where you can view the show, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and Facebook, where we have two pages. That's Toilets to Titles, and the other one is When a Family Breaks, which is our Facebook page dedicated to the trading of sports memorabilia. Don't forget, you can also follow us at patreon.com/toilets and titles, where you can also learn how you can further support the show. And and we have our own website, which launched on August 1st, toiletstotitles.com. It has all of our videos, articles, tons of fantasy and NFL football content. Check it out. It is great. I'm really, really proud of our website. And following the show, just a friendly reminder, following the show, I'm kind of like the warm-up act for the shows that follow on Sunday and Wednesday. But this morning, Sunday at 10:30 a.m. is the Blitz, which is our fantasy football start sit advice program. So and it's hosted by Mike, Alex, and Justin. And eventually, the idea is to eventually have it to be a call-in show eventually. But for right now, this is definitely still a viewer and subscriber driven show. So please send any and all questions through the chat, any start sit questions you might have. And Mike, Alex, and Justin will address every single question that is submitted through the chat. It is a great program, and I catch it after this program myself. I'm usually in the chat. I love that show. So let's get into the NCAA content. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I thought it was actually kind of a boring week in college football. You only get a few of those every college season. College football is awesome. It's a lot of fun, and it is so damn unpredictable. But this week you had a few upsets. I think you had like three upsets, but nothing really, really, really big. All the big five teams won, the big four, big five teams won. So there weren't any really huge upsets, but let's go through this real quickly. Georgia, number one, Georgia defeated Tennessee 41-17. Georgia cemented in the number one spot unless they get a loss sometime over the next few weeks, over the last 3 or 4 games. They're cemented in the number one spot. So they took care of Tennessee 41-17. Number two, Alabama hung on. They hung on against New Mexico State 59-3. So they're cemented in the number two spot right now, Alabama. And number three, Oregon defeated Washington State 38-24. And in number four, Ohio State defeated number 19 Purdue, 59-31. So what we're seeing right now is we're getting close to the end of the NCAA season. We've got like 3, maybe 4 games left for each team. Barring any losses, this is what we're probably looking at as the top four. And again, that's Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State. Outside of Oregon, 3 of the top four are your usual suspects: Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. That fourth team will usually be like Clemson or LSU. They're clearly out of it. They're not even ranked this year. But you've got Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State, who are like the usual suspects. That they're usually showing up the top four at a chance for the NCAA championship game. But you also have Oregon in here. And Oregon, don't get me wrong, they're normally a college powerhouse. But I wouldn't say, they're not always in the top four, such as Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. But right now, Oregon is cemented in the number three spot. And I'll just go to the Ohio State Purdue game real quick. Ohio State really laid a beating on. They laid a beating on Purdue 59-31. I want to give kudos to Purdue though. Purdue, in my opinion, they should have dropped that much in their rankings. They're 19. I think they deserve to be around there. Hopefully, they don't drop much further than 20, because Purdue has had probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest, college football schedule this year. They played Ohio State was the fourth ranked team that they played this year, and I believe they won 2 of them, and that was against way back earlier in the season against number 2 Iowa, and then last week who they upset, and then last week they upset number 3. Was it number 3? Um, I believe they upset MSU, and I forgot what MSU was ranked last week, but they were ranked very, very high. Purdue upset them, And Purdue's had some really big upsets this season. And like I said, they played four ranked teams this season, which a lot of the top ranked teams haven't even done. So, kudos to Purdue. They're having a really good year. Um, so I just hope that they don't drop further than the 19 because actually I think they should be ranked higher than 19 even with this loss to Ohio State. Purdue is 6-4. And like I said, they went up against four ranked teams this year and they won two of them, at least two of them. No, they did. They won two of them. They lost two of them. But two of those wins were against highly ranked teams. Again, Iowa earlier in the season, and then MSU, Michigan State University last week. So Purdue's got game in them. I have a lot of respect for them, and they don't deserve to drop further than 19, in my opinion. I think they should be ranked higher, top 15, to be honest with you. You got Cincinnati, number 5. Cincinnati is staring. They're outside of the top four. They're staring into the top four. They're still undefeated. They defeated South Florida 45-28. So they right now Cincinnati's going to remain staring in at the top four, barring a loss by one of those teams. And honestly, even if like Georgia loses, Georgia might not tumble out of the top four. Georgia's still undefeated themselves. They've been kicking everyone's butt. Their defense, especially, has been absolutely dominant. But if Georgia were to get a loss, they might not topple out of the top four. But Cincinnati is in the fifth spot, out on the outside looking in, and but they took care of South Florida 45-28. Michigan, number 6, defeated Penn State 21-17. Number 7, Michigan State defeated Maryland 40-21. I assume that Cincinnati, now Michigan is 6, Michigan State is 7. I assume even with their wins, they're not going to overtake Cincinnati, who's still in the fifth spot, I believe. But it also depends on strength of schedule. Don't be shocked if Michigan takes over the number 5 spot from Cincinnati. Don't be shocked if they take it over this week. Okay, so here was the first upset. Number 8 Oklahoma was upset by Baylor. Number 13 Baylor, 27-14. Oklahoma has no shot at getting into the top four this year. It's over. That's a shame because Oklahoma had a really, really good season. Caleb Williams is a freshman quarterback who's been performing very well. He had a bad game yesterday. They actually brought in Spencer Rattler at some point too. I don't know if that was due to injury or just because Caleb Williams was not having a good game. But Caleb Williams, again, the freshman quarterback who took over for Spencer Rattler, did not have a good game yesterday. Oklahoma was upset by Baylor 27-14. Oklahoma's chance to make it to the top four and a chance at the NCAA championship game is gone. It's over, but still Oklahoma overall had a very, very good year. Number 9, Notre Dame defeated Virginia 28-3. They defeated the Cavaliers 28-3. They took care of business. They're number 9, and they're probably going to stay there. I don't think Notre Dame will be moving up. I think they're cemented in the number 9 spot right now. Number 10, Oklahoma State. Here's a team that should move up. Oklahoma State's looking great. They've been rolling. They're number 10, right? Came into this week ranked number 10. They defeated Texas Christian University 63-17. Well, they laid the shellacking on TCU 63-17. Oklahoma State. Actually, they very well may move ahead again ahead of Notre Dame into that number 9 spot or number 8. Well, you know what? Oklahoma State could move. They could move ahead of Oklahoma again. Oklahoma was 8, and they just lost to Baylor. So Oklahoma State could move into the top 8 actually. And here was another upset. It wasn't a big upset, but it was an upset. Number 15, Ole Miss upset number 11 Texas A&M 29-19. I'm not surprised by this. I actually thought Ole Miss was a better team anyway. Let's go into this box score real quick because Ole Miss's quarterback is pretty good, Matt Corral, and he is probably looking right now. He's looking like the best quarterback coming into the next draft. And again, his name is Matt Corral. The last name is Corral. Not a big game by Corral. Not a big game by Corral. He went 24 for 37, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and he had a quiet game on the ground because he's been pretty good on the ground in previous games. Corral he had 10 carries, but for -5 yards. So Texas A&M defense really held him up pretty well. But Overall, Texas did win this game 29-19. It was a surprisingly quiet game by Matt Corral. He's had most of his season, most of his games have been much better than this one. But again, Corral only put up 247 yards, one touchdown. Just looking at Zach Calzada, the Texas A&M quarterback, had a quiet game as well, not a good one. I'm just looking at some of the other. All right, so we had wide receiver Ole Miss, Jerrion Ely, 24 carries, 152 yards. Did I say wide receiver? Jerrion Ely is a running back, excuse me. He had 152 yards rushing, and that's it. Like on the big numbers, really no other big numbers in this game, to be honest with you. So I'm going to move on. Like I said, I got to speed this one up. I have my son's flag football championship game today. I have to get to that. So Wake Forest, number 12, Wake Forest defeated number 16 North Carolina State 45-42. There was a shootout there. Mississippi State upset number 17 Auburn 43-34. That is so Auburn. Feel bad for Auburn. They're a good team, but they every season, every year they have these losses that are just a little head scratching. And Auburn is a better team than Mississippi State. They should not have lost that game. Mississippi State's got game, but I don't know if they've been ranked at any point this year. They've got game. They're a program that's got game. Okay. But Auburn is a better team than they are this year. They should have won that game. Auburn got upset. Number 17. Auburn's been just flopping around in the rankings, in and out of the rankings the entire season, and they got up to 17. But like I said, they lost to Mississippi State, who was unranked 43-34. Number 18, Wisconsin defeated Northwestern 35-7. Wisconsin has been rolling over the past like 3 or 4 weeks. I think they're undefeated over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I believe. And they've been marching through the rankings. I'm surprised that they're only 18, and they should move up quite a bit on this game. They've been kicking everyone's butt. Let's go into that box score, as a matter of fact, because I'll tell you two things that Wisconsin is always known for are their running backs and especially their offensive line. Um, I want to go into that box score real quick. Um, Okay, Wisconsin. All right, so running back for Wisconsin, Braylon Allen, 25 carries, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns. What year is he in? Let's check out Braylon Allen. He's a freshman, so he's not coming out into this draft, but he put up a monster game. Again, his name is Braylon Allen, 173 yards and 3 touchdowns for Wisconsin. Uh, and that's it really for the big numbers for Wisconsin, to be honest with you. Just like, and really nothing to call out from Northwestern either. But again, Wisconsin, one thing you can always count on is when you're looking for offensive linemen, like high-end quality, top quality offensive linemen, three programs you can always count on are Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and Iowa. That's usually, and Alabama too. But I'd say those first three are really where you get your best offensive linemen. So let me move on to the next game. Okay, Iowa, ranked number 20, defeated Minnesota 27-22. Number 21 Pitt, ranked number 21 Pitt, otherwise known as Pittsburgh, defeated University of North Carolina 30-23. Let's go into this box score too. That game was actually Thursday night because Sam Howell, quarterback for UNC, is another highly touted quarterback coming out into this draft from UNC. I'm not crazy about Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell definitely has a chance to be a quality NFL quarterback. I'm just not completely sold on him, and I don't think he should be like a top 5 pick, to be honest with you. You want to take him somewhere between like 6 and 10. I get it, but I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. I think the only top 5 quarterback, in my opinion, uh, a quarterback coming into the 2022 draft, who would be worthy of a pick 1 through 5, in my opinion, would be Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. Sam Howell out of UNC has been too up and down. He's coming into this next draft. He's too up and down for me, and he's not on the best team. UNC is not the best team. Um, but I'm still not crazy about Sam Howell. He did lose a lot of weapons in last year's draft, like Diami Brown just being one of them. Um, and I think maybe, yeah, it was at least one really good wide receiver he lost, as well as that really good running back tandem that he had last year too. They were drafted this past season in the 2021 draft. So Sam Howell lost a lot of experienced weapons, and that definitely hurt him. So but I've never been all that crazy about him. And like I said, for a top 5 pick, you know what? He probably will wind up going to the top 5. Teams get quarterback, desperate, and I don't think that would be a desperate pick. I don't. I'd understand him being picked in the top five. I'm just not sold on Sam Howell though. But I get it. If a team took him in the top five, I get it. I do. I do. So I'm a little too hard. I'm a little too hard on Sam Howell, I think. Okay, San Diego State ranked number 22. This is one of my sweetheart teams. They defeated Nevada 23-21. Um, San Diego State, they may move up to like 20. They're not going to move up all that high, and they don't deserve to be higher than that. But San Diego State is a team that I root for. Number 20, ranked 23, University of Texas San Antonio defeated Southern Miss 27-17. So that they took care of business. 24, ranked number 24, Utah Utes defeated Arizona. That is the University of Arizona 38-29. And number 25, Arkansas, the Razorbacks, defeated unranked LSU 16-13 in overtime. Okay, so like I said, I need to march along here. Got a busy day ahead of me starting early this morning. I'm going to go into my NFL picks and I'm going to share my screen. All right, let's do that. And let's get rid of this banner over here. Hang on one second. All right. Okay, so let's do the old share screen. Boom, boom, share. All right, here we go, peeps. Okay, so again, these are my best teams, my best for the NFL teams. These are in my opinion, the best 10 teams so far through week 9. And I went through I did this first on Wednesday night, and I went through why I explained why I have these teams ranked the way I do on Wednesday night. I don't have the time to go through my explanation again, but I am just going to rattle off my rankings who I think are the 10 best teams so far in the NFL through week 9. That's the Buccaneers. This is in order: Buccaneers, Cowboys, Rams, Packers, Cardinals, Titans, Ravens, Bills, Browns, and Colts. And you'll notice that this for me, this is an NFC top. It's an NFC top heavy list. I've got my top 5 teams are all NFC teams. The first AFC team that appears on the list is Tennessee. Unfortunately, they're missing Derrick Henry, which they survived that last week. They had a really good game last week. I forgot who was against, but Tennessee. Oh, they beat the Rams. They beat the Rams. So Tennessee's defense is looking really good. I'm very worried though with Derrick Henry missing in pretty much the rest of the regular season. He may be back in time for the playoffs. We don't know just yet. The injury was really stretching anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to actually missing the rest of the season. So we don't know what's going on with Derrick Henry. He's going to miss the rest of the regular season, but he might be back in time for the playoffs. That really worries me about the Titans because they are very much a Derrick Henry driven offense. But I've got the Titans ranked just staying at rank number 6 right now, and I've got 5 NFC teams ahead of them. And my contender teams, again, my last 5 teams here on this list are the Titans, the Ravens, the Bills, the Browns, and the Colts, all AFC teams. The top 5 teams right now for me are all NFC teams, and I think there's better parity in the AFC. The NFC's got a lot more teams that are under 500, including my Giants. The AFC is more balanced, but I think that the better teams in the NFC are better than the best teams in the AFC this year so far. My contender teams are the Raiders, Bengals, Saints, Patriots, Steelers, and Chargers. These are the teams, the 6 teams that are knocking on that top 10 and can wind up making an appearance at any time. So my results and my picks so far, my week 9 results, I was 7-7 with the spread, and I was 7-7 straight up. So one of my worst weeks was last week, but it was better than 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago was horrible. My year-to-date results so far, I am with the spread. I'm 77, 56, and 3, and straight up, I'm 84 and 52. Okay, so here are my week 10 picks. Again, the 4 teams with the bye this week are the Bears, Bengals, Giants, and Texans. Okay, so I took the Ravens at the Dolphins. I'm sorry, it was Ravens at the Dolphins, the Thursday night game. I got this one very wrong, like I think most people probably did. The Ravens were giving 7.5 points. I took the Ravens giving the points and the Ravens straight up. I was wrong both ways, big time. That was a big time upset I never saw coming. Ravens are kind of reeling right now a little bit. They're not looking good, so they're probably going to drop on my top 10 list this upcoming week. Okay, Falcons out the Cowboys. Falcons are giving 8 points. Again, this game is in Dallas. Falcons are giving 8 points. I'm sorry, excuse me. The Cowboys are giving 8 points. I'm taking the Cowboys giving the points and the Cowboys straight up. I think last week's game against Denver was a fluke in terms of how much they got their butts blown out. I think Denver is an admirable team. They're a tough team. And last week's game, I thought the Cowboys would win, but I wasn't shocked by a Denver win. To be honest, I think Denver's tough. They have a really good defense, um, but I was shocked by the score. It was a butt kicking. At one point, it was like 30-0, and I think the final score was 30-16, if I recall correctly. But I think the Cowboys come roaring back. They take it out on the Falcons. I think they're going to kick the Falcons' butt today. Saints and the Titans. The Titans are giving 3 points. I'm taking the Titans giving the points and the Titans straight up. Even though Derrick Henry's out, Tennessee's defense is looking really good, and I think their offense will be good enough to win by more than 3 points. Saints. I wouldn't be shocked by if the Saints came in and won. Actually, I would be surprised. I would be surprised by that. But again, the Derrick Henry being out really, really scares me with the Titans. But this game's in Tennessee. I'm going with the Titans, giving the points and the Titans straight up. Jaguars at the Colts. The Colts are giving 10 points. Um, Jaguars are coming off that crazy upset against Buffalo last week, 9-6. But the Colts are playing great. They look great on both sides of the ball. They look great on defense, like they've looked really good the entire year on defense. And the Colts have both, they're looking better and better every single week on offense. Carson Wentz, I can't say enough about him. That trade for Carson Wentz was fantastic. I thought it was a great trade all along, and I believed in Carson Wentz. I'm very happy that he's out of the NFC East because I'm a Giants fan myself. I'm glad he's no longer there. He's doing better and better with Indianapolis. He looks great now, and he doesn't even have a true number one wide receiver. Jonathan Taylor's running around like a maniac. He's probably the best running back this year. But Michael Pittman is getting, he's been better and better every single week. Every single week, he's looking really good. I do think Indianapolis could use like a true wide receiver one, but Pittman is stepping up big time over the past few weeks. He's looking really good. The Colts are moving. They're looking really solid. They're looking really good. And I think they're going to take care of business against Jacksonville by more than 10 points. So, you know what? I had the Jaguars getting the points. No, you know what? No, 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 no. I'm changing this right now. So I'm taking the Colts giving. I think I originally had Jaguars getting the points, and I was taking the Colts straight up no matter what. But I'm changing it to the Colts giving the points and the Colts straight up. So I'm in this game again. The Colts are giving 10 points. I'm taking the Colts giving the points and the Colts straight up. Okay, Browns and the Patriots. The Patriots are giving 2.5 points. I'm taking the Patriots giving the points because of the state of Cleveland's running game. I don't like that Chubb is out with COVID. And listen, and also Kareem Hunt is out for a while with an injury. I forgot if he's out for a few weeks or for the rest of the season. I forgot, but he's out. He's not out. He's definitely not in this game. And Chubb, so you've got Hunt and Chubb are both missing this game. Cleveland has done a great job of with their backup running backs with Chubb and Hunt out. But I'm worried about the Patriots. I don't. Patriots are a solid team. And the thing is that you got like Bill Belichick. That guy he's like having Bill Belichick is like having an elite quarterback. He's an equalizer. He's probably the greatest head coach and definitely the greatest defensive mind of all time. This guy himself is an equalizer. And I think the Browns missing their two best running backs in this game is really going to hurt them. And I know, Mayfield's got a torn labrum, I think, in his non-throwing arm. And listen, I can't say, oh, they traded OBJ because OBJ has been a non-factor in Cleveland since during his entire Cleveland tenure. But you know what? This game's in New England. I do think the Browns are, on paper, a better team than New England. But the game's in New England. Chubb and Hunt are out again. And if this were another team, I'd probably take the Browns anyway and just assume that their backup running backs like Dearness Johnson are gonna do just fine. And Cleveland's defense is really good too. But the game's in New England, and you got Belichick there, and I think he's going to give Cleveland a hard time. So I'm going to go with the Patriots giving the points and the Patriots straight up. Bills at the Jets. The Bills are laying 13 points. I'm taking the Jets getting the points if Mike White is starting at quarterback. It's my understanding. I forgot to look into his status. It's my understanding that Mike White is starting this game. So if he's starting this game, I'm going to take the Jets getting the points and I'm taking the Bills straight up. No, I don't think this is really going to be a close game. I think the Bills. I think Mike White had a great game 2 weeks ago, and he had a really good first quarter. What was it? 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or last week, um, against the Colts before he went down with with an injury at like the end of the first quarter, and he missed the rest of the game. Mike White was looking really good. Um, but I'm betting that Mike White is gonna have another pretty good game. I don't think I think the Jets will cover the spread. I do. The game might not even really look that close. It might be where they get some garbage time points, but I'm going to go with the Jets getting the points. Of course, I'm going with the Bills straight up. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills just stomped all over the Jets because they are significantly better on paper. And the Bills got embarrassed last week against Jacksonville by losing 9-6. They're probably going to be looking to take their anger out on the Jets. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills won by like 26 points. But you know what? In this game, I am going to go with the Jets getting the points. Um, I believe that I believe that Mike White is starting, so I'm going to stick with this. And I'm definitely taking the Bills straight up though. Okay, moving on. Lions at the Steelers. There's an update here. Roethlisberger, in case you weren't aware, Roethlisberger is out with COVID. Roethlisberger is not in this game. And as a matter of fact, let me put that here. Um, Ben is out with COVID. Big Ben is out with COVID. So I think I changed my pick here from Wednesday. So the Lions are at the Steelers. The Steelers are giving 6.5 points. I think it was 9.5 points, I believe. Now it's 6.5 points because Ben Roethlisberger is out with COVID this week. He's not playing. It looks like Mason Rudolph is going to play. So I'm going to take the Lions getting the points. Ugh, scary. It's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh still has a really, really good defense. They still have Najee Harris. Um, I should take the Steelers in this game at home, but you know what? I'll take the Lions getting the points, and I'll take this Steel. I'm definitely taking the Steelers straight up, but I'm going to take the Lions getting the points with Ben Roethlisberger being out. Okay, Buccaneers at Washington. The Buccaneers are giving 9.5 points. I'm taking the Buccaneers giving the points and the Buccaneers straight up. Panthers at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are giving 9.5 points. I'm taking the Panthers getting the points, and I'm taking the Panthers getting the points because it looks like Kyler Murray is not going to play. It looks like he's going to be a game time decision. That decision has not been made yet. What I've been reading, just from the I checked out like three sources. It looks like Murray is doubtful for the game. It looks like he's doubtful to start. So if that's the case, then I'm taking the Panthers getting the points. I'm taking the Cardinals straight up no matter what, no matter what. But assuming that Murray is out, I'm going to take the Panthers getting the points because Christian McCaffrey is back for his second week in a row. I think he himself is a great equalizer. He's so tough to contain. Cardinals defense has been great this season, but you know what? He's just such a dangerous weapon that I'm going to go with the Panthers getting the points, assuming Murray is out. If Murray is playing, then I don't care what the point spread is. I'll take the Cardinals. That's even if Murray is playing. I don't care what the point spread is. I'll take the Cardinals over the Panthers. But assuming Murray is out and he's doubtful to start, assuming he's not playing, I'm taking the Panthers getting the points and the Cardinals straight up. Vikings at the Chargers. The Chargers are -3 points. The Chargers are giving 3 points. I'm taking the Vikings getting the points, and I'm taking the Chargers straight up. And I'll tell you, I am so tempted to pick the Vikings in this game, and I would if they were in Minnesota. If they were in Minnesota, the line probably wouldn't be 3 points. The line would probably only be -1. But the Chargers are laying 3 points. Vikings offense looks really good. The Chargers definitely leave me wanting more. Tell you, the Vikings have had possibly the toughest schedule this season so far. Vikings have had a lot of tough matchups this year, and they've been in most of those games. They've come out on the short end on most of those games. But Vikings have had a really tough schedule. In this game, the Chargers are giving 3 points. The game's in Los Angeles. I might have said San Diego. The game is in Los Angeles. I'm going to take the Vikings getting the points, and I'll take the Chargers straight up to win, though. But man, I would not be surprised if Minnesota won that game. I wouldn't be surprised. Eagles at the Broncos. Broncos are giving 1.5 points. I'm taking the Eagles getting the points and the Eagles straight up. I think there's going to be an upset here. I think the Eagles are going to upset the Broncos. Seahawks at the Packers. The Packers are giving 3.5 points. Here's a big update. Big difference between Sunday morning and Wednesday night when I did my other show. I'm taking so the Packers. First of all, it's Seahawks at the Packers. The Packers are giving 3.5 points. I'm taking the Packers giving the points and the Packers straight up. Here's the big updates. Both Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are playing today. They're both going to be playing today. Aaron Rodgers was activated from the COVID list yesterday, and Russell Wilson, I believe, he's activated. I believe he's going to be playing today. He's going to be playing in this game, so he's back with, I guess, healed up, at least mostly healed up from his broken fingers. Russell Wilson, that is. So you're going to have Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson both in this game. So I'm taking, again, the Packers are giving 3.5 points. I think the Packers are substantially better than the Seahawks. I think the Packers pretty much take control of this game. So the Packers are giving 3.5 points. I'm taking the Packers giving the points and the Packers straight up. The Chiefs at the Raiders. The Chiefs are giving 2.5 points. The Chiefs are giving 2.5 points in Vegas. You know what? The Chiefs have looked like absolute dog shit, and I think the Raiders match up well with them. Listen, I think the Chiefs they're still the Chiefs. You still have Mahomes. You got Andy Reid calling the shots, calling the plays. You still have a healthy Tyreek Hill, a healthy Travis Kelsey. Those guys and that trio, Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, is so deadly. But man, this game's in Vegas. I'm going to go with the Raiders getting the points and the Raiders straight up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win because you're talking about that great trio. Um, the Raiders are coming off being upset by the Giants, by my Giants last week. And they had the whole fiasco with Henry Ruggs III. But you know what? Raiders have been looking solid the whole year. They've been looking good. And the Chiefs have really looked like crap. Chiefs have a knack for you knocking out some wins. The Chiefs are surprisingly like what 4-4, 5-4. They don't deserve it because they've looked really bad this year. But the game's in Vegas. The Chiefs are laying 2.5 points. I'll go with the Raiders getting the points and the Raiders straight up. In the last game, I believe, Rams at 49ers, the Monday night game. The Rams at the 49ers. The Rams are only giving 3.5 points. I know the game's in San Francisco, but I would think the Rams would be giving even more points than 3.5. But the Rams are only giving 3.5 points. I'm taking the Rams giving the points and the Rams straight up. Something that big that happened over the past few days is obviously the Rams signed OBJ, but I don't know how effective he's going to be because he just signed with the Rams this week. So, how much he's going to be included on the offense this week, I don't know. They also lost Woods. The Rams lost their wide receiver Woods, who's probably their second best wide receiver after Cooper Kupp. He's gone for the season now, I think, with a torn ACL. So again, Woods, their number 2 wide receiver, is done for the year, and they've got OBJ, but again, OBJ just signed with the team in the middle of this week. I don't even know if he's playing. If he is playing, how well could he do? Because he's brand new to the offense. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I think the Rams have an easy time with San Francisco. So the Rams are giving 3.5 points, and even before this point spread was still 3.5 points early this week, even before the news about Woods and his ACL came out. Um, the spread was still 3.5 points. So I'm sticking with it. Rams, I think they're going to shellac the 49ers in San Francisco. So those are my picks, everyone. And quick, before you go, just a friendly reminder about our in-season schedule here at Toilets to Titles. And let me get rid of this over here and put this up here. We have 8 programs in season here at Toilets and Titles, and it is Monday night. We've got our waiver wire program, which is for Patreon members only, and that's why you want to check out Patreon. Tuesday at 8 p.m. is Toilets and Titles, which is our flagship program. Wednesday at 9 p.m. is my other show, Joe Knows NFL Review Preview. That's where I do a review of the previous week's NFL results, and I do my initial preview of the upcoming NFL games. And following that show, Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. is Dollars to Deuces, which is weekly betting advice. I love that show. I'm in the chat all the time. I absolutely love it, and that is hosted by Rich and Nate. And then Thursday at 8 p.m. is a dash of DFS, and that's hosted by Coach Chefs and one of our new members, one of our newer colleagues who just joined Toilets and Titles just like a week or two ago, Joe. And I think, you know what? I think Mike is in that as well. Yeah, Mike does DFS as well. Saturday at 7:30 p.m. is our Down Under Dynasty program. We've got three guys in Australia, a great team in Australia, three guys who are and again that's Mark, Ben, and Matt, and they are giving fantasy advice, their own advice on a dynasty football, dynasty fantasy football. So if you have any questions, you know, any advice you would like, send it through the chat for that program. That's a really good program. Again, 7:30 p.m. Saturday. I love that show. And again, 8 a.m. the show you're watching right now, Cup of Joe, where I recap the NCAA games and I do my updated preview of the NFL games for Sunday and Monday. And then following the show at 10:30 a.m. is the Blitz. And again, that's hosted by Mike, Alex, and Justin. That is our start sit. It's going to be a call-in show, but any questions you have for fantasy football advice, start sit advice, send it through the chat. Send it through the chat. But that's a great, great show. And I'll be in that chat as well. And again, here are the Twitter handles for me and all of my colleagues. We're up to like 14 people right now on our team at Toilets and Titles. So great, great crew to work with. I love all of them. They're just great. And they all contribute, so much, whether it's, some people are contributing videos, some people are contributing articles, some people are contributing both. So, we're all doing our very best to bring you the best content possible in both fantasy football and NFL and NCAA as well. And again, one last friendly reminder, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell, give us that 5-star Apple review because we deserve it. Anyway, everyone, I'm out of here. Have a great Sunday. And you know what? I have to see what I'm going to be doing next week for my, not this week. Well, Wednesday I'll be doing my show, but I'm leaving for vacation for Thanksgiving next Friday. So I guess next week's shows, the week of Thanksgiving, I'm going to see what I can do in terms of getting those done. So from vacation, so I don't want to miss doing those. So we'll see. We'll see what I can do. But anyway, everyone, take care. Have a great weekend and enjoy your football. Enjoy the NFL weekend, guys. Take care. Bye.